Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Parks. I'm here with attorney Benjamin Crump, attorney Natalie Jackson, with Trayvon's mother and grandmother and a family friend. Without question, today was a very important day in this case. What was rather clear, all of the bad information that had been put out by the defense team will not be evidence in this case. It should not be evidence in this case. I think that's important because for whatever reason, and they made it rather clear today in court, that they were attempting to try this case about marijuana, guns, and fighting, none of which had anything to do with the 7-minute period on that night of February 26th when Trayvon Martin was killed. And so now we know we're in a legal context now, which is where we should be. It's a legal case, and all the things that they did to defame his character, to give him a bad name, to turn people against him, will not work because it doesn't fit in the legal arena. At this time, I'll have Attorney Crump address you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Trayvon Martin did not have a gun. Trayvon Martin did not get out the car to chase anybody. Trayvon Martin did not shoot and kill anybody. Trayvon Martin is not on trial. The judge went through about 22 motions that she denied, primarily based on all that information that the defense lawyers put out. You all called it evidence. We told you it was not evidence. It was information that the defense lawyers put out. We have to respect the rule of law. We have to respect the rules of evidence. We have to be responsible, all of us. And when people put something out there, we have to challenge it. We just can't accept it as this is a relevant issue. None of the information released last week by the defense lawyers were relevant, admissible. It's not Brady evidence. It is not exculpatory. It does not factor. It does not conclude the guilt or innocence of George Zimmerman. So just because they put something out there and purport that it's relevant, you have to challenge that. You have to say, what context is this? Just like we're challenged all the time. When we say something, it's evidence, it's Attorney Crump says something. It has to be the both perspective from every aspect. We have to be fair in this because we have to be fair to Trayvon's family as well. Now, I will say one other important thing. It was a huge victory when the defense waived their pre-trial stand your ground immunity hearing, because it validated what all the protesters said about having a right to have George Zimmerman come to court to face the evidence against him for killing an unarmed teenager. And that's all they were asking for. They were not asking for a conviction. They were asking that the Constitution apply to everybody, that we be fair. And Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin and Trayvon's whole family have asked continuously that the process be fair, because that's all they want is a fair process and the verdict be based on the evidence. In conclusion, I would only say that today was very important because the trial is on track to come forth on June 10th. This family has wanted to have their day in court. They wanted to not have their son's death be in vain. And so they pray continuously that the justice system does not fail them. At this time, we'll answer a few questions if need be.
Are you worried that during the course of the trial, the state may open the door for some of that evidence to come?
I'm not, because I think the judge has been very clear that, and we all made notes that they have to get over hearsay, they have to get over authentication issues, They have to show that there's propensities out there. It's very difficult to do those things. Most lawyers knew that this information was irrelevant and inadmissible. And it's one of those aspects that you all have lawyers to consult with. They talk about this information was not relevant. It was inadmissible. And so we have to not let people get away with trying to pollute a jury pool. As we said over and over again, we think it was strategic when this information was released after the jury summons had went out, and it was calculated, we believe, to sway and pollute and influence the jury. And everybody wants, at least I pray that all lawyers involved want this case decided on the evidence, not stuff they hear outside of the courtroom, stuff that they hear inside the courtroom. What the judge instructs them is evidence.
Ben, is the jury polluted? The jury pool polluted then?
Well, you got to have a serious concern when you see what we saw this past week, where you saw the defense team sending information out almost daily, right? Information being put out that attempted to portray Trayvon Martin in a negative light. You have to be concerned about that, for no other reason to portray him to be someone else prior to that night, when the truth of the matter is that this case should be tried on what happened that night and what George Zimmerman knew at that time. He knew nothing about Trayvon Martin's past. And so to go and try and portray Trayvon Martin as a person who dealt with guns, a person who fought all the time, a person who smoked marijuana, those things are wrong, right? And so it's an attempt to portray Trayvon Martin as some other person, not to deal with what happened between the two of them on the night in question.
Within the 7 minutes, George Zimmerman got out of his car until he shot Trayvon Martin in the heart. That's what's relevant, and that is going to be critical.
So do you have confidence in the 500 that have been called here?
I want to believe in my heart of hearts as a court official that the jury will be truthful and honest to the judge, and they will follow the evidence and the instructions of the court, because that's all we can depend on. That's the best system we have in the world. And Sabrina and Tracy and her mother, their family, they have put all their confidence in the justice system working for everybody.
Now, you also got to understand, Kerry, in our system, they're going to have a jury questionnaire. And unlike some other states, Florida allows pretty good leeway in asking jurors questions about their life experience, a little bit about the case, not too much about the case, but they get to really get into the jurors' past conduct. And it's being said, as long as they are truthful and honest with the court, then you normally get to any issues that are involved in terms of their ability to be truthful in this case and to judge the case fairly.
Civil rights issue.
I honestly think this is a civil rights / equal justice issue, because everybody in the world is watching to see if everybody in America gets equal justice. And that's an important thing to know. The whole world is watching us, and we have to be transparent and we have to be fair. And that's all Sabrina and Tracy Martin have asked from the beginning. If that's your child, he's unarmed and he's shot down in the street, don't you want the person who shot him to be arrested and have to come to court and not get to go home and sleep in his bed and not be questioned, and everything that the person says is taken as the gospel? The person isn't even done a background check, isn't even made to engage in an alcohol and drug analysis, because, you know, they kept talking about the marijuana issue. And the thing that is really troubling to me and a lot of people is that George Zimmerman, the night he shot and killed Trayvon Martin, was not given a drug and alcohol analysis. And we now know that he admitted to Detective Serino that he was on prescription medication that affected his mind. So what effect did that have on him? You all remember he said that he did not get out the car to chase Trayvon Martin. He got out the car because he was on this medication and it affected his memory, so he had to look at the signs. Now, we don't buy that. We've heard the objective evidence. You all have heard it. He say these a-holes always get away, and that's when he got out the car. You all have to judge that objective evidence, but the jury and all of America can determine about marijuana and the effects it has on a person. And then these prescription medications that George Zimmerman were on, you all have to vet that and ask those questions.
Ben, can we ask Mrs. Fulton how she feels about the way her son was portrayed in the media last week?
No. Let me say this here. On the advice of counsel, right, we've instructed her not to do any talking right now, mainly because, as the court indicated, and it's important, we're on the eve of a trial. We have jury summons out. She is strongly a potential witness in this case. So based on our instruction, we've asked her not to say anything right now. We hope that you could respect that, please.
Thank you.
It seems to be a heartbreaking thing to read those texts that she was trying to get him to turn his life around. And, they love each other back and forth.
We have to go now. Thank you so much, though. Sorry.